Good evening, good evening, good evening. Hello, good afternoon. This is the New Orleans Talk Network. I'm your host, Remus Bowman, and this is you and your credit. On last week, we had an opportunity to introduce Riddell. Miss Riddell Green is sitting in today, and she will also be back next week as a part of a two-part segment that we're going to be doing on divorce. A lot of times, relationships have a expiration date. More often than not, we go into relationships with a very positive, looking forward to a long-term uh, life relationship, and at some point in time, we realize that we've made a mistake, or the journey has come to an end in that relationship. So uh, the objective of today's show is to help people that are going through similar situations to make good decisions as they go down the road to divorce. How you doing today, Riddell?
I'm wonderful. How are you?
I'm great. I'm great. You might want to
Good,
scoot
good.
up a little bit.
Awesome.
Uh, as you were telling me recently that you're going through a divorce at this time, and it's a very difficult time for you.
Yes.
And you were saying that it's having an adverse effect on your credit.
Correct, correct.
Uh, this happens more often than not when people are getting divorces, primarily because we never prepare ourselves for the end date or for the eventual end of relationships, and as a result, of that positive, loving feeling that we have while we're committing ourselves to another person. We purchase things together. We buy cars, homes, credit cards, and other financial obligations are commingled. And when you're resolving your relationship, you find yourself
Mm.
at odds about who has responsibility for those debts.
The who's who.
Who's whose debt is whose
Who's
debt
is
is this?
who's and what's is what's.
Yeah. Well, it's unfortunate, but
Mm.
I did a show about 2 years ago, and it was on divorce. It was a similar subject,
Hmm.
and in my show, what I recommended that when people realize that their relationship has come to an end, they should sit down and try to work out that financial situation and accept a certain amount of responsibility for all of the assets and the liabilities, and try to sign off on or accept responsibility for everything before you actually try to separate. Because more often than not, what happens is a lot of people, when they're going through this devastating time, they make a lot of emotional decisions.
Mm.
And so, even in divorce and divorce court, we have the wife saying, "Well, this is mine," and the husband saying, "Well, this is mine." And then, sometimes the courts will say, "Well, since the husband has a greater income or the wife has a greater income, then that person should maintain a certain amount of financial commitment to the other person's car, or help and pay for the rental of a home or apartment to to get the other person stabilized so that they can keep moving." But the person, while they're in divorce court, because the judge is forcing them to accept responsibility for things that they may or may not feel should be their obligation, they may go along with it, and then within a very short period of
Hmm.
time, every
Nothing.
all things are off the table. You're back in court. You're fighting. People end up going to jail. People end up with bad credit.
Yes, yes, yes.
Folks also end up with bankruptcy as a result of these situations. And and I know your frustration because I've talked to many people over the years because of the business that I've been involved with. So I invited you, and also let me just say this before I go further. Next week we're going to have Riddell back on, and we're also going to have an attorney on that focuses on divorce and separation of assets. So at that time we're going to have Riddell back, and we're going to see if we can bridge the information that we're going to be transferring today and and relook it from a legal standpoint
Right.
to see whether or not that information bridges the same, to the same degree and justifies the opinion that I might have. So, Riddell, tell us a little bit about your story.
Ooh, where to begin? Okay. Well, as we all begin that good old dating journey and then to marriage, I did so. And in the midst of it, you don't go into it expecting the worst. Obviously, you wouldn't do it. You go in with high hopes and building a family and wealth and all that good stuff. Me being a woman of entrepreneurial spirit, I say, you know what? We're gonna work for ourselves. We're gonna do this. We're gonna do that. And I'm more of a leader. So no names need be said. He followed, and then he led, which is good. But then he led us down into credit hell. I have to call it there because I've always been credit conscious. So when I decided, I'm gonna co-sign for this, and I got your back on that. Actually, when I started dating him, I said, you know what? The first thing, what's your credit look like? Let me see your credit. Let me pull your credit. And he was very open to it, thank goodness. And we pulled the credit. I went through it. I said, okay, this is what we need to do to get you together because I repaired my credit once before. And I said, but obviously not to the extent that this program will do. Need I say, thank God. But we went through the credit stuff. I said, okay, let me help you build your credit. I helped my sister in turn build her credit. Co-sign for her car. Big mistake. Warning, red flag. If they're not paying a cell phone bill, don't co-sign. And I love you, dear sister. I do. But shots fired. You playing with my credit. That's my livelihood into my business world. That is how I put my daughter through college and pay for things that she's going to eventually need and give her, things that I want to give her. So with that being said, I signed a co-signed for my sister, and I double whammied my credit when I co-signed for my sister. Then I turned around and co-signed for my husband at the moment, at the time. I co-signed for him two commercial grade Chevy, not Ford, Chevy vans. And I say Chevy because Ford give you a fleet of vans, but do you really want them? Sorry, Ford lovers.
We're not gonna we're not. This is not a show on automobiles.
I'm sorry, it's not. But the point is, I did co-sign, and me doing so, it hurt me. It hurt me bad.
What actually happened, obviously, is that the people that you co-signed for didn't make timely payments,
What?
and as a result, it affected you adversely. But if you're not in a position where you can make those payments or monitor what someone else is doing, then it might not be a good idea to co-sign for someone. I'm not saying that you shouldn't or should because you know the relationship that
Right.
you have with those
Oh,
people,
you think you know it.
and you know what their needs are,
Right.
and sometimes it's in the best interest of a loved one that you do something to help them because they may not have anywhere else to go. It's just about time for our first break. This is You and Your Credit on the New Orleans Talk Network. We're going to be balling today. This is going to be a great show. We're going to get a little more in depth, and we're going to answer some questions on what you need to do when you're in this situation. Also, I intend to give some ideas on how to resolve your financial obligations prior to your separation.
Hmm.
When the time clock is on, we already know that the end is near. That the end date is already approaching. Your
Yeah.
your foot's almost out the door, or the other person's foot's almost out the
You know
door.
that incoming.
You say, "Hey, come on, come here, guy.
You know
Let's sit
what?
down and talk. We got some issues to resolve.
Yeah.
Let's see if we can do something about this property before the end date actually hits.
Instead
Before
of
you
walking
actually
away.
or I actually walk out the
That's
door,
right. That's right.
let's
It's
see if
hard.
we can find a way to resolve your financial obligation to this property, car, checkbook, checking accounts, credit cards, home,
Business,
business,
everything needs to be
everything.
discussed.
Take it
Absolutely.
one step at a time, and let's see if we can put these issues to rest. Where at the end of the day, we don't end up in bankruptcy court or with bad credit that we've got to live with for a number of years.
So,
And uh,
so further
and
notice.
this is something that most people don't do. It's time for our first break. This is the New Orleans Talk Network. We're going to be right back.
Listen up. Your customers, our listeners, could be hearing about your business right now. Yeah, right now. Don't miss out on the opportunity to advertise with NewOrleansTalkNetwork.com. Call our business department today at 504-475-4793 to hear about our great rates. NewOrleansTalkNetwork.com. We provide the people, you provide the business. New morning show alert. New morning show alert. The Warren Ballantyne Show airs daily from 9 to 11 a.m. Central Time, bringing you the news you need to know. The Warren Ballantyne Show, now on the New Orleans Talk Network.
This is Captain Black.
This is Brother Al Mims. Join us for our new show,
The Hostages that Fight Back, Wednesdays at 10 a.m. Central.
We are all hostages to something.
But it's up to us.
Find the courage to fight back and make the change.
So tune in to become the change you want to see in the world, here on New Orleans Talk Network.
Brothers and sisters! Brothers and sisters! I don't know what this world is coming to.
Happy Merry Mondays. It's your girl, Mary J. I want you to tune in with me to Real Talk with Mary J on New Orleans Talk Network every Monday morning at 10 a.m. Then follow me to blogtalkradio.com/Real Talk with Mary J at 10 p.m. It's going to be a Merry Monday every Monday at 10 a.m. and 10 p.m. You've just tuned in to New Orleans Talk Network.
What's up, New Orleans? Listen, this your man Fred, host of your #1 sports talk show down here in New Orleans. Yeah, I said it. FanView, where real fans talk about real sports. Join me, Bank Ball Recite, your people's man B, and Madman the Big Fan as we talk about all the latest sports topic going down here around the country. Again, FanView, where real fans talk about real sports.
The New Orleans Talk Network.
This is the New Orleans Talk Network, and you can have whatever you like when you have good credit. When you have a good credit score, you can walk into an automobile dealership and say, hey, I want that Lexus, I want that Mercedes, I want that Jaguar, Toyota RAV4, or Highlander, or whatever you like.
Whatever.
But first things first, back to Riddell. So, Riddell, you were just telling me when you go into a store, you like to swipe that card and you want to have it, you want to have it now.
No decline. Can't take
The biggest thing is that, and I don't know how you feel about this, but a lot of times, the downfall of a lot of relationships is money management.
Oh, yes, it is.
And I've met people, especially being in the car business and being in several of the retail types of industries, where people would walk in and say, well, my husband or my wife spends money and I don't know she spent it, or we didn't have money for this, that, and the other. And so as a result, uh, we find that in a lot of relationships, even marriages, where people have separate bank accounts and they take responsibility separately for
I'm sorry, I'm
for
laughing separately.
certain parts of the bills in the household. Which is a very good idea if you find that you're in a relationship with someone and you're having to cover for them. That's a key that that person does not manage money well, and we got to have the lights on, baby. I'm sorry, and we got to eat.
Let me say this, Remus.
Mhm.
Okay, so yes, finances are extremely important when you call yourself dating someone, entering into a relationship, let alone a marriage. It's important. Let's be real with ourselves. That is the number one cause of divorce. That is the number one cause of breakups. Okay.
You feel that in your divorce that you're going through now, is that the primary reason for your divorce?
Oh yes, poor money. Oh yes, poor money management, poor credit management, poor business management, management. You have to manage your credit. You have to manage your life. And if you sit here and you say you want to have a family, you want to have a marriage, okay, that comes with managing too.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
I
saying?
agree, and I tell people that all the time. If you intend to have a partnership, then that partnership has to be based on stability.
Yes, it's
And
important.
so everybody has to. There's no perfect man or woman.
Of course not.
You know, and we all stray. We all do things that we probably shouldn't do.
Yeah.
And we take it on the chin, and
Let me say this.
and we apologize, but we keep making the same mistakes in some instances.
With the whole the credit divorce thing, like I told my soon-to-be ex, no names needed, I don't like me all the time. I don't like all the decisions that I make all the time. You're not going to like them. Deal with it. You have to deal with what I do, and I have to deal with what you do. However, we don't have to just deal with it, but we need to manage it. We need to sit down. We need to communicate what's going on, what decisions are being made financially regarding children and all this other stuff. If you're talking about being married, you have to manage that marriage.
You also mentioned to me that you had a business with your husband.
Yeah. Yes, I did.
And and you also have property
Yes.
that y'all bought together in
I walked away.
Mandeville.
I walked away
Well,
at Lacombe.
Let's not put that on. Let's not put that on the air. We want to give you an opportunity to be able to change your mind. So talk to a divorce attorney before you
know.
make a bad decision.
That's what they
You know, that's one of the things that we constantly tell people. You never get a second chance to make a good impression. But when you make bad decisions and then you have to go back at the end of the day, you're still going to have a certain amount of obligations. And what you might want to do is you might want to take those assets, liquidate those assets
True.
together, split up what the asset's value is, and then take the money that you're getting from the asset to liquidate the liability.
True.
Liability meaning the debt that you owe together. If you fail to make good decisions in managing your assets, then certainly it's going to have a long-term effect on everything else in your life.
Agreed.
If you say, walk away.
Yeah, a
Well,
lot of frustration and emotions, of course.
Some
yes.
things you can't walk away from. Some things you may want to walk away from. I have a girlfriend who told me that 20 years ago, she and her husband were having some issues, and she decided she didn't want to be married to this guy anymore. And I'm going to tell you the whole story real quick. And so she walked away. She left him with the house. She took herself and her two kids, bought another house on her own without him on it. And interesting enough, that was 20 years ago, and today she's still married to the same person, although they don't live together. It's the weirdest thing. It's the weirdest thing.
I don't have time. That's too much.
It's the weirdest
what I look
thing.
like. We're not doing that.
Yeah,
but
when she told me they were still legally married, I was like, well, we hold on to some things forever.
I do.
So where are you guys at now? You still have both vehicles? Are the vehicles on the same loan?
Um, the one, no, the two vehicles that well, three vehicles at this point that I co-signed for my
Well,
sister's vehicle.
I see what you're driving too. That's a nice car.
Great, thank you, sir. That's called credit. That's called making sure she was okay and
Okay.
she driving good. I need to do better. But then with the co-sign for my sister, what happened with her? Actually, let's talk about her. And I love you, sis, but so what I did was she had no credit. She was basically a ghost, and I was very credit worthy at that point in my life when I co-signed for my sister. So we got her a car from Texas, and long story short. Point is, I co-signed for her car. She decides she decides she's not going to pay her car insurance, nor will she pay her car note. So me having a small business, I said, well, I can't let my credit go bad. So I started to foot the bill. Now, mind you, she's still working. She working. She just doing what she want to do with her money.
She's working and driving the car.
And look, full coverage insurance, everything on me, compliments of me, and the husband, the soon-to-be ex. But point is, so I couldn't let.
Well, he couldn't have been an all bad guy.
No, he wasn't all bad at all. I would
he
never
helped
man
out.
bash. Never
Yeah.
man bash. I love
All right.
black men.
Okay.
But the point is, he had to help me pick up that bill for her, and I kept saying, "Come on now, sis, you have to pay your bill at least." Well, she wasn't trying to hear me, so what I did was, I forced her into a refi. So, matter of fact, I lied, a trade off. So I had her trade the car I co-signed for, which in turn boosts my credit up because they paid the car off.
Paid off, right?
And stuck her in high interest rate. Look, not my problem type of deal. You got to deal with that now. You
Okay.
once had a good cush little situation, and you ruined it because I
Right.
co-signed. Anyways, wrapping that up. Point is, don't co-sign.
But can I give you a second thought on how you could have helped your sister?
Okay.
All right. A lot of times, and I'm not an advocate for trade lines, but I will tell you this. Let's say, for example, you've had a credit card that you've had for a long period of time. It's your credit card. Let me see
I
what
did
I'm
it,
saying.
Remus. With Liberty Bank, shout out Liberty Bank.
Let me
I
see,
did it,
let me
though.
finish what I'm saying. And your sister doesn't have any credit.
Mm-hmm.
I would go out and either add her to that credit card and not giving her an opportunity to use it, but put her name on the credit card, pay the credit card off. Then she would get a payment history for the amount of time that you were in that credit card. Get rid of the card, so that she can have an advantage of the score from it, and then she will be able to walk into a dealership and buy something. A lot of times with young people, we don't help them establish trade lines, and trade lines could be as simple as going out and taking a few $100s and opening a bank account for them at Capital One or Liberty Bank or Chase or wherever, instead of co-signing. In January, a large percentage of America normally starts to buy cars and buy houses and buy other things during the tax season because that's when they're getting these extra money in. So, and I tell people all the time, well, why don't you clean your credit up now so that in January, when it's time for you to make a decision to purchase, you'll be in what's known as a better situation where banks will be more apt to do business with you. There's a lot of laws on the books right now that give you the opportunity to become more credit worthy, to clean up your credit, get the junk off your credit. If you don't do that, then you're not taking advantage of the opportunities that are afforded to you, and so you will not be credit worthy, and the banks will turn you down or give you excessively high rates, high interest rates.
Yes, they will.
So as a result, we got to look into this. Now back to your situation with your pending divorce. Have you and your husband sit down and try to work out any of these things together?
I Unfortunately, no.
Although I never asked you that question earlier, but I already knew the answer because of the response that you gave me when you said,
I walked away.
well, let me ask you a
Some
question.
people are uncivil. You can't do business with you gotta be civilized with uncivilized people. So, but it's okay.
Well, the point is that you can't blame everything on someone else.
Of course.
It's up to you to take the bull by the horn. This is some situation that's going to be following you around for a long period of time. So you have to force this person to some degree to listen to reason before it has an adverse effect and people start repossessing things and you start losing stuff, and then you won't be able to drive around in that
Now, see,
that nice Cadillac.
Here's the thing. I'm gonna drive good. I'm gonna ride. I'm gonna ride. I'm gonna ride good.
Well, pretty girls do ride good.
It's a requirement. But no, you're right. You're right. You have to take the bull by the horns, and you do have to say, you know what? Let's be mature about this financial situation that we're in. However, like I said, you can't always be civilized with uncivilized people. And I'm not saying that he's completely unreasonable. I'm just saying I ain't got time. Let me speak in Ebonics. I ain't got time. I don't have room for the BS. Sorry to say.
Do you have an
I'd rather
attorney?
just go and clean up the problem myself.
Do you have an
and keep
attorney?
it moving. No, I don't.
Okay.
I do not.
So you're in the middle of
a crisis.
A hurricane. A crisis.
A crisis.
You're right. You're right. One of the things that I am hopeful about when it comes to you is that you seem to have a very good understanding of how credit is affecting or potential credit disaster is going to affect your life. And I think most people have that. They have an understanding of, wait a minute, I'm about to go down this road, and this road is full of darkness and pits, and I really don't want to be here. But what do I do to avoid this situation? Well, it's time for our second break. This is You and Your Credit on the New Orleans Talk Network. I'm your host, Remus Bowman. We're here with Radell Green. And she's putting it out there, man. She's sharing her soul. Yeah. We'll be right back in just a few minutes.
What are they gonna do? Judge me?
Listen up. Your customers, our listeners, could be hearing about your business right now. Yeah, right now. Don't miss out on the opportunity to advertise with NewOrleansTalkNetwork.com. Call our business department today at 504-475-4793 to hear about our great rates. NewOrleansTalkNetwork.com. We provide the people, you provide the business.
Are you a member of Bedside Baptist? Well, now you can join Bethesda House of Prayer every Sunday for our live broadcast. It starts at approximately 9:45 every Sunday morning. Just go to NewOrleansTalkNetwork.com and click play. We can't wait for you to join us from your home. And don't forget, if you want to join us live and in person, service starts for 9 a.m. and we are located at 7601 West Lake Expressway, Marrero, Louisiana, 70072, Suite C.
This is Captain Black.
This is Brother Al Mims. Join us for our new show,
The Hostages That Fight Back. Wednesdays at 10 a.m. Central.
We are all hostages to something,
but it's up to us.
Find the courage to fight back and make the change.
So tune in to become the change you want to see in the world here on New Orleans Talk Network.
Brothers and sisters! Brothers and sisters! I don't know what this world is coming to.
What is New Orleans Talk Network? It's today's hottest topics with an added flair. You get ready because the conversation will be hot and better yet, mobile. Download the New Orleans Talk Network app available on Android, iPhone, iPad, and you can listen to us on the web at www.neworleanstalknetwork.com. Write down our talk line at 504-341-TALK. That's 504-341-8255. Interactive and worldwide. That's what we are. Join in on the real conversation and tell a friend about the New Orleans Talk Network.
What's up, New Orleans? Listen, this your man Fred, host of your number one sports talk show down here in New Orleans. Yeah, I said it. FanView, where real fans talk about real sports. Join me, Bank Boy Recite, your people's man B, and Madman the Big Fan as we talk about all the latest sports topics going down here around the country. Again, FanView, where real fans talk about real sports.
Right now. Yeah, right now. Don't miss out on the opportunity to advertise with NewOrleansTalkNetwork.com. Call our business department today at 504-475-4793 to hear about our great rates. NewOrleansTalkNetwork.com. We provide the people, you provide the business.
You can have whatever you like. I love that song. We want to try and be as positive as we can about very bleak situations. This is the New Orleans Talk Network. I'm your host, Remus Bowman, with my co-host for the day, Miss Riddell Green. And this is You and Your Credit. Every day, day in and day out, I meet people constantly who tell me virtually the same thing, and sometimes it wears me out. It becomes a very difficult time because my heart goes out to everyone that I meet who tells me that they need my help, and there's only so much of me I can give, but I try to give as much information as I can. And if you'll go to my Facebook page, there's a photo of me and my grandson, and I try to say, hey, I'm here to give you as much information as possible, so that you can make good decisions. Having done this show for over 2 years now, I can look back and reflect on the number of people that we've assisted. I can also look back on the number of people who have gotten information from this show and made decisions on how to move forward with their financial situation. And in the end, they've had extremely good results. Riddell is in the process of becoming a representative for financial education services, and we're going to be welcome her in very soon. And we've got a number of people that have contacted me on Facebook that we're going to be turning over to Riddell to start contacting, so that we can help you. We can help you start to earn the money you need to earn to live the life that you deserve to live. You never get out of anything less than what you put in. So the more you pour, the more you put in. As one of the ministers said, we're talking about fresh oil. And, we want to put positive things into our future. So we got to get moving. We can't sit around. If you do nothing, nothing will change. So you got to take this take this negative and turn it into a positive. Now, you've seen us on my screen what we call a V card. That's a video card. If you'll go to the video card, you should be able to, at the bottom of the video card is the call letters for it. And you should be able to, or you go to my Facebook or my Instagram or my Twitter. We're also going to have the video card on YouTube as well. If you go to the video card, you should be able to join this program. It says enroll now. if you're in the market to change your life, I wanna suggest that you enroll today. It's only $87. Or if you would like to contact me and you'd like to send me an email, just go to the video card and put your information in, and that video card would send me a message that you want some additional information about credit restoration from yours truly, and we'd be more than happy to contact you, or maybe I'll have Riddell contact you so we can get her started. We're going to get her on a good track to helping herself and helping other people. Most of the problems that we have is not just the management of money, it's earning more money so that we can keep it going, so that we can overcome our situation. It's all about money, and it's all about money management, but then sometimes bad things happen to good people.
Oh, indeed, indeed.
Riddell was just telling me that she had gone through and looked at some of the services on FES. And what were some of the services you had questions about?
Well, for the ghost, we call that the ghost in the credit system. Well, at least I call it the ghost. I'm sure they do too. There's a system on this FES program that's offered to you once you sign up for the $87 and some change, plus tax, of course. There's a system where if you don't have a home and you're not paying a mortgage, they'll do rent reporting, where they send this form to your landlord or whomever you rent from. They fill it out saying you pay X amount, and then that amount is reported to the credit bureaus. If I'm not mistaken, that's what I read.
Right.
Then there's also that good old infamous life insurance policy that we all need. I'm all for it.
Right.
They're signing up real soon. That's all I can say, guys. I would say sign up. We need that life insurance, not just on ourselves, but unfortunately on our aging parents. We need it on our children. You need it. And if you don't want it, you'll regret it later.
Absolutely.
Well,
what she's referring to is the life insurance.
The life insurance
that you get
through the program.
Through the program, if you're an agent. If you're an agent, and you can also purchase life insurance through FES as a customer as well, but I think you're talking about the program where they, if you service, 30,000 is made available to you when you're an agent for FES, which you will
My apologies, you all.
You will be coming. United Financial Services has been in business for 12 years. They've helped millions of customers. They've also helped me. One of the ways that I became as involved in the company is that I had a situation 10 years ago where, more than 10 years ago now, where I had an automobile. No, it was in 2008
Don't show
or
your
9.
age, Remus. Don't show your
That's
age.
okay. I'm proud of these years, man.
You're proud of your grades.
I'm proud. Well, I can't say I'm proud of the grades because I color them. They teased me over at the dealership about having gray hair. Anthony always says, I'd rather have the young Remus than the old Remus.
Okay.
So because of that, I'm forced to dye the gray.
No.
But it's not about that. It's about having a sense of youthfulness and trying to help people become credit worthy. I think that we want to try and do everything that we possibly can to put people in a good position where they can have whatever they like. If this is today is November, what is this? The 14th. November 14th. If you go to the video card right now and you put your information in by January 5th, by the first week or so of January, you would have a lot of things that have been taken off your credit report, and you could walk into Toyota New Orleans and come see me, and I can get you in a car, even if everybody's turned you down already.
Now that's.
But you gotta start someplace. If you do nothing, nothing will change. If you go to the video card right now.
Now that's a challenge. I'm willing to try.
Right now, and put your information in. It's going to cost you $87 for us to start doing your work. It's only $87 a month. It's not a contract. You don't have to stay in forever.
Right. But if you see progress, I'm sure you'll stay. I mean, if I see progress, I'm definitely staying. I'm not only you.
Well,
I'm just kidding. Go ahead, Remus.
I promise you, you know, when we talk about making good impressions, that transcends. It's not the good impression that you make to other people, but it's also the impression that you give your potential employer.
Right.
Because when you go into apply for a job, uh, they ask you for your name, address, date of birth, and social. And that guy pulls that social and he says, "Oh, wait a minute, this person don't manage money fair." So certain jobs you automatically are going to get turned down for based on that information, although it's illegal
It is.
for them to actually do that. But I promise you, no bank is going to have a person with a low credit score behind their desk because they know that that person has a greater potential of failure and not managing money well and potentially may end up behind bars as a result of their inability to manage money. So, I mean, you know,
I'm just picturing that whole scenario.
It sounds like it's it's something to laugh about, but in reality,
it's unfortunate. Yes, it is true.
We can change. You know, you're not the same. You may not be the same person today that you were 3 to 5 years ago, and we all make changes in our life. You know, and you want a second chance,
Or third.
or fourth, or fifth. Hey, every day I give myself a new opportunity. I say, hey, today's a new day. I renew myself every day. I text you this morning. I told you, I said, man, I'm so excited about doing the show, and I get excited every Monday, Saturday, Sunday. I look forward to it because I know how many people have actually helped. It's pages and pages and pages of people that we've actually helped to buy things, and it gives you a good feeling of satisfaction. Matter of fact, I want to do this.
What's that?
My phone number is 504-274-8117. My name is Remus Bowman. You can find me on Facebook. You can find me on Twitter, at Remus Bowman on Instagram. You can find me on YouTube. You can also find me on Gmail, RemusBowman55 at Gmail, 504-274-8117. If you want to become a registered representative of United Financial Services and therefore learn how to not only repair your credit, but how to assist other people in repairing their credit, contact me.
Yeah, Remus, let's get a training session going. Come on.
Contact me.
Come on, agents.
Contact me.
We're
ready to pass it down, pass it along.
Yes.
We're ready to get people involved, and this is information that you will be able to have in your life, a tool in your toolbox forever.
That's beautiful.
Forever.
Yeah.
You'll be able to to explain this information to your children and your children's children. We're going to get rid of this sense of bondage that not having a complete understanding of credit has put in our community. This is a sense of bondage like a gorilla, a monkey on your back, almost like a drug addiction, that you can't seem to shake. I'm telling you, this is the way to get rid of that drug addiction. This is the way to get rid of, to humble yourself and get rid of the adverse financial situation in your life, because you're going to pay less for everything with it when you have a good credit score. It's time for our third and final break. This is You and Your Credit on the New Orleans Talk Network. I'm your host, Remus Bowman. We'll be right back.
Thank you.
This is the Reverend D. Dunn
and Charles Stewart.
We will be coming to you live every Monday, 11 to 12 noon on New Orleans Talk Network, hosting a new show, A Church Without Walls. The church is us, and the church is you. We are church with no boundaries. Stay as long as you want, leave when you want. Remember, every Monday, 11 to 12 noon, Tune into a church with no walls.
Don't you dare miss it.
Listen up. Your customers, our listeners, could be hearing about your business right now. Yeah, right now. Don't miss out on the opportunity to advertise with NewOrleansTalkNetwork.com. Call our business department today at 504-475-4793 to hear about our great rates. NewOrleansTalkNetwork.com. We provide the people, you provide the business.
Happy Merry Mondays. It's your girl, Mary J. I want you to tune in with me to Real Talk with Mary J on New Orleans Talk Network every Monday morning at 10 a.m. Then follow me to blogtalkradio.com/Real Talk with Mary J at 10 p.m. It's going to be a Merry Monday every Monday at 10 a.m. and 10 p.m. You've just tuned in to New Orleans Talk Network.
This is Belinda Parker Brown, President of Louisiana United International. I am the host for A Force for Justice. You can listen to us every Thursday morning at 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. Central, exposing the injustice in our criminal justice system. You can also call in at 504-341-8255 and tell us how you have become a victim in our criminal justice system.
On the New Orleans Talk Network, A Force for Justice with Belinda Parker Brown.
Wags Food and Culture at 1601 Plaza Drive in Marrero, always delivering the best food for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. There's a reason why people keep returning to Wags. The food's always hot, great portions, and it's just down home good. Call ahead to order in advance at 504-348-3080. That's 504-348-3080. And let Larry know that you heard about Wags on the New Orleans Talk Network. Call him now. Wags Food and Culture at 1601 Plaza Drive in Marrero.
Nobody gives you better conversation about your quality of life. Let everyone know you listen to the New Orleans Talk Network.
You can have whatever you like. I said you can have whatever you like.
Yeah, you can have whatever you like. When you have good credit, you can have whatever you like, and it takes a little bit of smarts to get that point. To get to that point, you know. I was just talking to Riddell, and she did a little skit for me. I said, "You got to do that to close out the show, man." So I'm gonna turn it over to you. Do you have it in you to do it again?
I don't really know. I like to wing it most of the time. But remind me as to what? Was it about the We Gotta Eat?
Nah, we were talking about cell phones. And, unfortunately, a lot of people think they got to have expensive cell phones.
iPhones.
Yeah, I like my iPhone. I'm not going to lie.
See them. See?
But, and some people got the big expensive, what do they call them? The other phones.
Listen, I don't keep up with the tech world like that. Yeah. I can use a flip it at this point in my life. All
you want to do is communicate.
Listen, just call me. Let's just talk. Yeah. I'm not with the texting. I don't speak emoji, by the way. For those who out there, want to stick all these emoji, smiley faces, and middle fingers, I don't speak that language. But I was saying to Remus earlier about the phone situations, and phones can either hurt your credit or build. Well, I don't even think they can build your credit. I think the only thing they can do for you is hurt.
Tear your credit down when you don't pay the bill.
That's it.
But actually, the program that you were talking about with FES, what they do is they take companies that you have made successful payment histories with, and put them into your credit file.
See?
And like your light bills, your Cox cable, your credit.
As long as you're paying them, you don't be paying them.
And they will report that payment history to the credit bureau. And give you, so that you can establish credit scores. A lot of times, people have not uh, been able to develop any credit scores because they haven't gone out and developed any lines of credit in purchases with companies that like credit cards or with automobiles or anything like that. So even though I run into people in their 20s and 30s who still have no lines of credit, and if you spend a little time in a program, in a FES program, they'll show you how to establish your credit lines without having to go out and buy lines of credit from scrupulous characters. Because there are people that sell credit lines today.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, when you put your name on somebody else's credit line, that credit line becomes a part of your credit profile.
It sure does.
And what happens is if that person fails to make those credit payments,
So do you.
you also get whacked.
Yeah.
But we were talking also about the telephone. You could buy a phone from Walmart, T-Mobile, several other places, and you could have unlimited time for $50 or less than $50. So why would you want to go out and put up $200-300 for a deposit just to have an iPhone?
Here's the thing, Remus.
Mhm.
Let me speak on some of these young generation ballers.
You can still do the same thing with those other
Now,
phones, by the way.
Not all. I'm not gonna say that, Remus. I'm not gonna say that. iPhone they perform differently from a flip phone and so forth and so on. But let's speak to the generation that feels the need to watch the music videos and keep up with. I know. We very short time, but to those young people, taking that $500 to go get a cell phone or a pair of shoes, $87. If you're a ghost in the system, you could be riding a 2017 Camaro today. Not today. Give yourself 3 to 6 months for your credit score to go up.
Absolutely.
But by the new year, you could be all right. And it's not about just being all right, go and get a car. You want to build that credit for your future families.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to just get out here and just lose your mind in the credit world.
Mhm.
You want to understand the credit world and play with the credit world's money to take you to where you need to go. And for our young people, entrepreneurship, that is the way to go. That is what I promote. I encourage every young black person that feels like they're too good to punch a clock, start your own business. But you have to start with your credit. Knowledge of self is what you really need. And then you need to gear some of that toward that credit so that you can become more independent.
Absolutely. Well, I think what you need to do is in signing off on what Riddell just said, you also need to develop an intimate relationship with the type of business that you want to go into. I think that along with having good credit and developing a banking history are the 2 things or 3 things that will get you started. I owned businesses when I was in my 20s. I've owned several businesses. I only went back to the car business because after I came back to New Orleans from Atlanta during Katrina, I developed a COPD, and I couldn't work all the time because I was constantly sick because of the chemicals that was in the air as a result of Katrina. And like you said, we got to eat.
We got to eat.
Got to
You know what I'm
eat.
saying? If I don't eat at this table, mark my word. If I don't eat at this table, mark my word.
Move it to the next one.
I will eat. I got to eat.
Well, this
I like
is
to eat at them all.
This has been You and Your Credit. It's been another Monday show. It's 1 o'clock now. It's time for us to sail away. It's been my pleasure.
Mine's also.
My name's Remus Bowman, and this is Riddell Green, and this is You and Your Credit on the New Orleans Talk Network. Have a great day.
Bye.